Welcome back to another episode of the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. Corey, Jason, Dylan, Mel, John, Pauline. Guys, April, we're getting to the end. And there is one big storyline that we're going to touch on later. As we record, that storyline has 12 parts to it. But first, let's talk a little Royals. And by Royals, I mean they're getting a new stadium. Now, their new stadium is going to be in the Kansas City, Missouri area, as opposed to the Chiefs, who by 2031 are moving to Kansas City, Kansas, which is kind of weird that they're not going to be together.
Yeah.
They're going to announce it in a presser tomorrow, Wednesday, the 22nd in the morning. You know exactly where it's going to be. But it's going to be a $1.9 billion. $600 million will be from city bonds, and another $350 million from Missouri. How do we feel about the Royals and Chiefs splitting up and just how much this stadium is going to cost?
Well, I'm obviously not a member of the Kansas City Royals fan base. I don't go to their games in person, but their stadium, at least presentation-wise on TV, is one of the better looking stadiums in baseball. So I'm kind of surprised that they're just making a switch in general. To be honest with you, I don't know if maybe the seating's bad or it just needs complete overhaul renovation wise and everything's not up to date. So they're just going to start over. I don't know enough about that. I hate to see them go, but I am interested to see what the new stadium design plan is. And with the Chiefs moving to Kansas City, Kansas, I bet Kansas City, Missouri goes all out for this. And I wouldn't be shocked if we see something similar to what the Houston Texans are doing in Houston, where it's more of a complex built around the stadium and the team store outside, Kansas City Royals themed restaurant, maybe better parking, and they just go all in on the Royals, especially with all the young talent that they have in Bobby Witt, Pasquantino, Caglione. There's a lot of guys there to be excited about. So I'm interested to see what the full plan is. I kind of hate to see Kauffman Stadium change, but
Yeah, I hope they keep the big scoreboard with the Royals logo and center field and all that.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I'm sure they'll have some form of an adaptation of that as an homage.
It's iconic.
Mm-hmm.
But to say it is one of the older, it's 53 years old. The stadium,
yeah, like I said,
1973. So I'm sure there's
some things that are out of date. Like I said, I haven't been there. When we went to MetLife, Corey, on TV, that stadium looks fine. And then you're there and you're like, this is kind of a piece of garbage.
Yeah, that's putting it. MetLife is literally a dump.
Yeah. I mean, it's so. Have you ever been there, John?
No, I've only been to Citizens Bank. And I've been to the Rockies Stadium.
So I've been to Citizens Bank. Great stadium. I've been to Yankee Stadium.
Is it Rockies or Coors? Is that what it is?
Coors, yeah.
Coors. I've been there.
Been to Yankee Stadium. Great stadium. I was at the Link this year. Really solid stadium. MetLife is just gray. That's the only way I could describe it. It just kind of sucks the life out of you.
I mean, I wish I could defend my home team, one of my favorite teams, the Giants, their stadium. I'm a season ticket holder for the Giants. I get it. I just can't get behind defending it. All the negative things about that stadium.
And I had a good time at the game with you. There's no shade in you.
Just beat the Packers that year. Yeah, Tommy
DeVito. And the Giants were so bad that they actually did the Eagles a favor because the Packers were competition, so it was a win-win. But yeah, listen, if the Royals ballpark reminds people of MetLife, then I get it.
I just don't think the Royals ballpark, it can't be that bad. Nothing can be that bad. But the next thing I want to talk about, last Monday, multi-homer Monday happened. 9 players hit more than one home run in a game. It's the second most players to do so in a single game, in a single day in MLB history. 10 players did it back on September 10th, 2019. And this is the 6th time 9 players had accomplished it. You guys want to take a guess at who hit multiple homers that day? Any of the big names?
All rise.
That's right. Judge did it.
Of course.
2 more did it in that same game.
Oh, who'd they play last Monday? Oh, Trout.
Trout.
Yeah.
Who else went yard multiple times in that game? Was it Joe Adele?
It was not Joe Adele.
An Angel, though, right?
It was not an Angel.
Oh.
Ben Rice.
Nope.
No.
Dylan did not go yard twice.
Dylan didn't go yard twice.
Don't look so smug, John. I don't hear you naming any Phillies that did it.
Was it Schwarber?
Schwarber did do it.
Yeah, I thought so. That's really annoying me that I can't think of the other Yankee.
Once you give me the other Yankee, I'll run through the rest. Well, I'll do it now while you think. Ketel Marte did it. Nolan Arenado, Jeremiah Jackson from Baltimore, Josh Naylor, and Jake Berger on the Rangers. Who was the Yankee that did it with Judge?
I know Belly went yard last week, but I don't think he did 2 in a game.
Big 9th inning home run to tie the game.
Oh, Trent Bonds.
Trent
Grisham.
Trent Grisham. So those 9 guys did it. Pretty cool. I thought, that had to have been a record, but I guess it's second place, but still pretty unique. The last time it did happen, July 14th, 2024. Now let's talk teams. Dun, dun, dun. The Mets. The Mets are now 0-7 and on a 12-game losing streak since our last episode. They are 0-3 versus the Dodgers, 0-3 versus the Cubs, and now 0-1 versus the Twins.
They haven't won because I was on the podcast last week, but I missed the week before. So I haven't been able to talk about a Mets victory in what will now be 4 podcasts. I just want to clarify here. And I know, Frank the Tank will say the season's over. I know there'll be hyperbolic Mets fans to say the season's over. And I'm being 100% serious with this question here. At 7-16 on April 21st, is the Mets season over? Because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 NL teams with an above 500 record currently. The Mets are 9 games under 500, 8.5 back of the division.
Yeah, they're, like you said, 7-16 record overall. They're 0-10 in their last 10, obviously. They have a negative 25 run differential.
Negative 27 now.
Negative 27 now. On top of being 8.5 back for their division, they're 6 back of the wild card race. They're the worst record in the National League East, and they are the worst in the National League. They are about a half game back of the Royals for the worst record in baseball. But as weird as it is to say, I don't think we should leave them for dead. Soto will be back tomorrow, Wednesday. That could be the spark that they need. I wouldn't write them off. They can just as easily win 10 in a row, and now we're talking about a 17-16 team.
I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm pronouncing the New York Mets season over on April 21st.
Thumbnail on the pod, just a grave that says "Here lies the Mets."
And I really don't mean to be hyperbolic. And it's not that there's not a world where a team could come back from this start. It's not that. It's these guys don't even want to be seen in this take. It's that
don't associate me with it.
It's that I just don't believe in this team. I don't believe that they'll be this bad for the whole season. I don't think that they're going to have a 30 win percentage the whole season. I just don't see this team winning more than 86, 87 games. And I think you need to be in the playoffs in the NL this year, man. And I just don't see the Mets getting there. I think this is an 82, 83 win team at best. I could easily see them being a mid-70s win team. Again, do I think this will be the worst team in baseball come season's end? No. But I don't think that they will make the postseason.
Would this be the worst season ever in terms of what the expectations were after the offseason? Like, they were expected to be.
Personally, I think the expectations were set too high to begin with, honestly.
Well, you know what I think. And I think we're seeing it play out in real time. There's two versions of buying your team. There's this version where you just randomly spend money on talent over and over again off season that doesn't necessarily fit, but they're some of the better players on the market. And then there's what the Dodgers do, where they pick and choose precisely who they're going to spend their money on, but they're always willing to spend it. And you see the two different variations of how it works out. Having a big checkbook doesn't guarantee you success in baseball. You have to also know what buttons to push in terms of team building, and the New York Mets have shown that they clearly don't. Their best season thus, like in the last half decade, is a year that everybody kind of thought that they weren't going to be that great, the OMG Mets, because of the culture and because of the team chemistry and camaraderie that they had. You could, and it's not Soto's fault specifically, it's not Bo Bichette's fault specifically, but you mentioned it this offseason, Corey, they move on from what you believe to be the heart and soul of the team and Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
Yep.
You move on from Brandon Nimmo, who had been a Met for a long time, for Marcus Semien, who is washed and not a productive player anymore. You have Jorge Polanco out of position at first base. You have Bo Bichette out of position at third base. You have Juan Soto as your primary fielder. And to be honest, his fielding has gotten better since his time on the Yankees, but it's still not great, not where you want it to be. You get Peralta pitching-wise, but the rest of the starting rotation has actually been good this year. But the reason that I'm not going to bet on the Mets to stay good is because I just don't imagine it stays hot. And then the bullpen, it's just full of a bunch of guys who you hoped would maybe turn it around and didn't.
I can't believe how Devin Williams has went from what he was in Milwaukee to what he was with the Yankees.
Not a big lights performer.
Well, I think about it, he was the ultimate closer in Milwaukee. Yankees trade for him, high expectations, and he plays extremely poorly, especially in a walk year. Signs a big contract with the Mets, and the Mets know what he did with the Yankees. So this should not be a surprise that he has this poor play in him. They still sign him and let their all-world closer in Edwin Diaz walk, which is another big, bonehead move.
Mm-hmm.
And now now Devin Williams is doing the same thing with the Mets that he did with the Yankees, if not worse.
Yeah, and they can't score right now, and the pitching is starting to get worse as is. So, you can call me a hater if you want. That's fine. You could say I'm being hyperbolic if you want. That's fine. Is the season officially dead? No, but I'm out, and I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here willing to predict today that the New York Mets do not make the playoffs.
Do we see the Mets in a playoff position at any other point this season, or will they always be chasing?
Always chasing, I think. With how good the NL Central is, I just don't see them being a viable wild card team, because here's the way that I'm looking at it now, and I don't mean to dive into some other teams yet, but the Braves have a clear lead for the NL East right now. I think if we all had to bet a winner, we'd bet Atlanta. When it comes to a second playoff team from the NL East, I'd still sooner bet the Phillies than I would the Mets, which, by the way, these are the 4th and 5th place teams, not to count out Miami or Washington. But if I had to bet on one of those two teams to make a comeback, it would still be the Phillies. And I don't think you're getting any more than 2 playoff teams from the NL East, because I think the Dodgers are going to get in. I think the Padres are going to get in. And I think you could very well see 3 NL Central teams, or only 2 there, then it's probably Arizona. That's the other team. Like, the NL East isn't having more than 2 playoff teams, and they might only have 1, if we're being honest.
I'm looking at our NL East predictions, and two of us here had three teams coming out of the National League East, and one of us said, "I don't think that division's good enough. I only think two teams."
Hey,
but
the
who
guy,
who
the
had
guy who
the
had,
Mets going to the World Series?
yeah, I think it was the guy that had the two.
This doesn't help my narrative. All right.
Yeah. So again, am I rooting against the Mets? Yeah, I don't know if I go as far to say all that, but as an analyst, I'm willing to say it's not their year, and there needs to be some deep reflection about roster construction and building. And honestly, I'd start betting on some of the young guys, man, and I'd kind of turn that over this year. And at the deadline, I'd probably be sellers, and I'd let Beatty play, and I'd let some of these young kids play.
I think
And
he is playing. Is he
what a
playing?
Bichette could be.
Yeah, I'd move Bichette. I would build around Juan Soto. I'd move Lindor. They clearly don't get along. I'd move Lindor, and maybe if you move Lindor, you can keep Bichette and put him back at shortstop. Or, take Simeon and take Polanco and throw them away and get Bichette at second base. And redo your left side of the infield. Let Beatty be the everyday third baseman. I would just move in a direction of that. I don't know if I'd move off Peralta, though. I still think he could be good for next season for the Mets.
Is he under contract next season?
I'm not sure.
I think this is a walk year.
I'm not sure, but I mean, maybe you move him then to see what you can get. If you can get a good young stud from a team that needs a starting pitcher. But truthfully, man, it'd be Juan Soto, Bo Bichette, and some young kids on my team if I was the Mets at the deadline. That's another part of this. Like,
Peralta is on expiring contract.
That's another part of this. Like, are they going to be in a competitive spot that they should be buyers at the deadline? Do you double down on your mistakes?
Two questions, but you have to answer them kind of in conjunction, both of you guys. Do we think Mendoza gets fired? And if he does, give me a date you think he'll be canned.
Yes. June 1.
All right, John.
It depends. I mean, I was gonna say kind of the same thing that kind of Dylan. So it's like it depends. Like, I mean, if they're looking this bad at the end of May, do
you think they turn it around? I mean, Corey said he's not ready to give up on them. I did. Where are you at? Are you?
I think they can.
Have you given up?
Around. I don't think he gets fired. I think they can turn it around, just because Soto's coming back, and I mean, they're not. I mean, like, and I'm a Phillies fan, so like I would not love nothing better than to see them fall apart. But I think they do turn it around some. I don't know if they're going to be a playoff team. If they do make playoffs, it's going to be in a wild card spot. But I don't think he gets fired.
If he does get fired, though, when would you expect to hear that news?
I can't. I would say sometime in May. Like,
I think we're like late May, early June, or he just makes it through the season and is canned the second the regular season ends.
So I don't think
I don't see a point in firing him in like August. Like, at that point, just let it ride.
No. I do think, though, that he gets the majority of June to work it out, and we'll see a late June, early July where they still have the deadline. And
it's got to be before the All-Star break. That's my thing.
Yeah, definitely before the All-Star break. You can even fire him going into the All-Star break, bring in a new guy with fresh messaging coming out for the second half.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're April 21st, and the reasonable question you're asking is, will the Mets fire their manager? To me, this just doesn't scream playoff team.
Well, let's keep it going. We talked about the worst team in the National League. Let's talk the second worst team in the National League. You know, they're not much better, and I quite frankly think they are a worse team than the Mets.
That's crazy.
The Phillies are 0-6.
I don't know if it's crazy.
No. They're 0-6 since our last episode. 0-2 versus Chicago, 0-3 versus Atlanta, 0-1 versus the Cubs. 8-14 overall, 2-8 in their last 10, 7.5 back of the division, 5 games back of the wild card. They have a minus 42 run differential.
the worst in baseball by far.
Yeah, that is not a team that is better than the Mets, John. That is a team that is worse than the Rockies.
They're doing really, really bad. I mean, I can't. I mean, they're doing terrible. I mean, pitching's bad, hitting's bad, and then when they're hitting, the pitching's bad. When they're pitching good, the hitting's bad. I mean, I don't even know what Thompson's doing at this point with some of the stuff here because he's still marching out Walker there. And,
well, come Saturday, though.
I mean, come Saturday, Wheeler's going to be back and Walker's in the bullpen.
Yeah,
so I mean, thankfully, and then hopefully when Wheeler's back, all the pitchers kind of fall into their normal role, and none of them feel like they need to be the star, and hopefully they all settle down and get in the role and start pitching how they usually pitch. But the hitting in the lineup, I don't know what Thompson's doing because he's benching Crawford randomly, and they're starting this. I think they're starting Felix Reyes in right field, who just came up, and he's doing like good, but it's just like Crawford's your top prospect. I'd play him a ton. Saul Fielder, he's. I mean, yesterday he was the only one that had an RBI double.
Well, he leads the team in batting average.
Yeah, he leads the team in batting average. Like I don't know why Crawford's not batting higher up in the lineup because, like, honestly, I'd go Turner, Crawford, Harper, Schwarber.
Well,
over what they have now because it's just not working, and they need to try different things. Like it's just.
Well, this was kind of the disaster scenario we talked about with this team coming into the season, where it was like, how many times can you roll out the same lineup over and over again, and it fails in the postseason, and it's successful. Like, it's eventually going to catch up to you come regular season, the postseason woes. Like, this isn't, obviously the Yankees are me and Corey's team, and we had a little bit of pause with the Yankees, kind of run it back Yankees. But this is just bad. Like, literally. But this is like the 6th year in a row that this has been the exact Phillies team. And they had the one World Series run, but it kind of feels like they're just living off of that appearance still with some of these guys. Trey Turner's been bad this season. He was really solid last year, though, so I think like maybe you just hold off before overreacting there. Harper's actually been solid, to be fair.
Very good.
Schwarber, the average is terrible, but
his average is always terrible.
But the pop numbers are still there. Alec Boehm is just unplayable at this point in time. Honestly, Edmundo Sosa, not that he's much better, but you just be better off rolling him out at third every single day, if we're being honest. Crawford should be up the lineup. Romuto, he's been decent. Stott, maybe you could still trade him while there's something left in the tank there. I think he'd
be better if he was an everyday player, though. I feel like I get like he's not batting well against lefties, but like you look at a couple of seasons ago and the guy's batting like the guy can bat like upwards 300, 400 for like a month.
But there's just also not really like a big time third baseman that I think is available. I mean, maybe with how terrible the Astros are, you could call them up about Isaac Paredes and see if like a deal could be worked out there. That's not something that I would hate to see.
I just think their plan was they were hoping to bring Aiden Miller up earlier this year and then move off and trade Boehm and possibly Stott.
Yeah.
I mean, he got hurt, and I think that kind of derailed the plans.
And then pitching wise, it's Christopher Sanchez and nothing else. Now Duran's on the 15-day IL as well, so the bullpen is just good luck. I mean,
double A.
Not that the Phillies are winning many games at the end, but now the ones that they are, it's like good luck closing that out. So, and now they're 8-15 mid us recording. They've lost. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a week since they've gotten a win. Again, I still believe it's more like I'm not ready to. The way that I was completely out on the Mets, I'm not completely out on the Phillies yet. Just because, as much as I say, hey, like this team's probably not going to win in the postseason because they haven't, and we've seen this team. It's the same way that I'm kind of like this team will be better than what they are now because we've seen them for the last 6 years be a playoff team at least. I don't know if they make it back to the playoffs this year. I'm not confident by any means, but I am confident that they'll be out of the dumps of 4th place in the NL East, and they certainly won't be the second worst team in the National League come the end of the year.
I think the biggest question right now,
because they'll be buyers too.
Yeah, they're gonna be buyers, and the biggest question right now is if Wheeler comes back and he pitches like he was last season before he got hurt. Because if he comes back and pitches like he usually does, I
It just
have
doesn't
faith
change
that
that
they're gonna.
lineup.
Yeah, but I have faith that they'll at least start picking it up a bit.
I
But
mean, they have the third lowest amount of runs scored in baseball.
But come the trade deadline, like they're gonna have to be buyers and try to get some other bats. Like it's like at least at third.
I
Like
mean, we'll see who's available when we get there. I don't know.
They are who I thought they were. That's what they are. The nightmare scenario that we talked about, I thought was a lot more realistic than was given a lot of credit for, just because they have a very old team. Their pitching fell apart. Rangers gone, Wheeler's hurt.
But Ranger's not doing that great anyway.
No, he's not. Taiwan Walker is.
He's bad. He's always been bad. Like I don't like that's not like I'm like that's like he's been bad, always been bad. I don't know why he's still there.
Christopher Sanchez.
He's good.
He's very
good.
But I think the Phillies just refuse to get younger and more athletic. And I would say pretty confidently that they have the least athletic team in all of baseball.
Yeah, that's why the Adolis Garcia signing just never made sense to me. Not that he's a bad player, and I think it would be a really great asset for some team out there. I just
took a stiff team and added a stiff player.
Yeah,
the Phillies are built on power, and they just haven't found
they
power.
live and die by the home
right,
run, and that's been their thing.
And it's a big problem that I had with the Yankees over previous years. They kind of are finally starting to wake up and like move away from it, and so I do understand where it's like, guys, how about you just get some baseball players? Like the Phillies need about 3 Ernie Clements on their team. like they don't need to be anything flashy, just bat 250, field good, get a decent OBP, and let guys like Harper and Schwarber eat around you. But the problem is they just got too many crappier versions of Harper and Schwarber on the team.
Like Bohm really brings nothing to the table right now. You held on to him too long, and now his trade value is in the gutter.
Well, like I said, I think they were going to trade him, but Aiden Miller got hurt.
I mean, I just don't know. Like, what are you going to get for him?
And now I think they're just stuck with him until the end of the season. Because I mean, this contract's up after this year, so
I mean,
probably
somebody might take a shot on the expired.
You might,
or like
you
could trade him along with a prospect to a team that's like willing to just eat it.
Like for the longest time, I was thinking like they should just trade him.
The problem is there's just not a team bad enough right now to bring that up. I mean, like, would the Royals be willing to move off of a Michael Garcia or Bohm and a prospect? So. Probably not. I mean, Garcia's under contract for a while. It's a pretty friendly deal, by the way.
Right, that left side is locked up good.
Yeah. So, but there's just not enough teams that are bad enough. Like the Baltimore Orioles, I don't think they're at the spot where they're like, let's move off of Jordan Westbrook. I don't think that they're at that point in their season.
I don't think the Red Sox are bad enough to say, hey, let's bring in Bohm and, let him replace Durbin.
Yeah, I
think they might have been able to get away with that trade like earlier. Like if they did it in the off season, they might have been able to trade Bohm to the Red Sox. But not now, though.
I think the Phillies are kind of just going to have to eat it and hopefully turn it around.
He has to go. The Phillies aren't going to be good until Dombrowski's gone because he doesn't do anything.
You said to us in the pre-show, and I guess it's a similar question to what we were talking about with the Mets, but Rob Thompson, is there an expiration date on him as the manager?
I defended him a lot over the years on the podcast too and stuff and all that. Because a lot of the stuff I didn't think was his fault, but I mean, this past year with the World Series and High Managed World Series, I think it absolutely is his fault that they lost to the Dodgers. I think right now I don't understand a lot of the stuff he's doing with the lineup and just benching Crawford and starting other guys over him and other stuff. And I personally think if Wheeler comes back and they're still struggling, I mean, like I can see Thompson possibly getting fired or at minimum somewhere there, or maybe if they don't make the playoffs this year, I could see him going and Dombrowski going.
If they don't make the playoffs this year, I think it's a clean house situation.
Yeah.
Dombrowski will land on his feet. He's brought so many teams to the playoffs, to the World Series. Somebody will give him a chance to build again.
I just
think
think
it needs to be somewhere that has money because he can't do it without money.
It's just who's.
Well, they're spending. I mean, the Phillies. He's spending money with the Phillies. It's just he's not. It's just like
it's not smart money.
It's yeah.
No. Let's talk about a team who surprisingly isn't saying fire the manager.
Some are saying manager of the year in the AL.
I mean,
best record in the AL.
Yeah, Yankees 5-2 since last week. 1-2 versus LAA, 3-0 versus the Royals. Now 1-0 versus Boston in what I thought, and this is what I thought Boston's best chance to win a game in the series would be, because you do have Fried and Schlittler going the next two. You had a struggling Luis Gil pitching tonight. He'll shut down the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Yankees 14-9 overall, though. 5-5 in their last 10, so still a little mediocre. Like you said, first in the AL East, best record in baseball. Well, plus 28 run differential.
Best record in the AL.
Yeah, my bad. Best record in the AL. Soon, the best record in baseball. Soon. Positive thinking. And but prior to today's game, they had a plus 28 run differential.
Yeah, up to plus 32. I mean, listen, it's great for the Yankees that the AL sucks. I'll just be honest, because the Yankees are by far and away the best team in the AL right now with a plus 32 run differential. Meanwhile, there's teams in the NL, the Braves plus 55, the Cubs plus 34, the Dodgers plus 57, the Brewers plus 27, the Pirates plus 25. The closest competition to the Yankees in the AL is the Minnesota Twins at 12-11 at plus 14. So it definitely helps the Yankees that the AL is really bad right now. I'm not going to lie there. But this is what we talked about with this team as to why it was still going to be good, at least in terms of the regular season. The things that led to regular season success last year were repeatable. Right. The analytical numbers behind this lineup over the course of 162 being a productive lineup were going to stay. They've scored 114 runs so far. That's fourth most in the AL at this point in time. The pitching has been absolutely phenomenal. It's tied for the best in the AL in terms of runs allowed with the Rangers at 82, and it's only going to get better, right? Rodon and Cole are going to come back, and that's the thing. With this rotation, Cole, Fried, Rodon, Schlittler, Gil, that is the pitching path to victory is their path to going to a World Series and representing the AL, and I think it's certainly on the board for them. I do think there are still some characteristic flaws with this team that, I don't want to just harp on each and every week when we talk about this team, but I also don't want to sit here and pretend that I think the Yankees are just God's gift to earth as a baseball team either, because they are dominating in a weaker AL right now. I do think that, they could benefit from a contact hitter or two in being buyers at the deadline and potentially moving a Will Warren or another pitching prospect to beef up the lineup a little bit. Whether it's
that's really what they're missing.
Whether it's getting a guy at third base is probably the most likely spot for that.
Alec Bohm?
No, not Alec Bohm. Or, you get a guy in. You just can't move off of any of those guys in the outfield right now. I mean, I don't know. Trent Grisham's batting 167. I wouldn't mind moving off of him. I don't think he's
eligible to be moved, though, till June something.
Not traded, just benched.
I mean,
I wouldn't mind having him as a pinch hitter.
Yeah. I need more out of Jazz, especially if Jazz is going to want to get paid.
Yeah, I mean, the 182 batting average isn't good by any means. 8 stolen bases, though, I don't want to just scoff at.
No,
but the Yankees have been stealing, and Jazz is a part of that. No, Jazz doesn't have a home run yet this year. But again, if he can get the batting average up, I like the stolen base numbers. They have Aaron Judge, who still is not prime form Aaron Judge, but he does have 9 homers, and they have through this point in the season an MVP candidate in Ben Rice. Like, he's batting .319. He has 8 home runs, 18 RBIs, a 1.2 OPS, and a 1.3 WAR right now.
Rice has been awesome. He's going to be an all-star.
And
Dylan,
Bellinger's been
you in
awesome, by the
Philly.
way.
Belly's been great. Wells has been heating up a little bit. Caballero has never put that stranglehold that we hoped on shortstop, where I think Volpe
I
will
mean,
now come in.
nine stolen bases, though.
No, that's good. I mean, I think that won't go away. He'll be a pinch runner for Stanton. Volpe has also been known to steal bases. So we're not going to lose that when Volpe takes over.
How would you feel, and I'm just spitballing here, but if the team experimented with Jazz at third, Cabby at second, Volpe at short to open games, and to close games, Cabby gets benched, Jazz moves to second, McMahon comes in for defensive purposes to keep Cabby's base running in play in the early part of the game, because McMahon is batting 128.
Right.
So it's not like his bat is a necessary keep in the lineup today.
Right. I think we simplify it, because Jazz has come out multiple times and said that he's a worse hitter when he plays third base because he worries too much. I say you just try Caballero out at third.
Yeah, that's fine. I meant like those 3 guys to open games and then McMahon to close for defensive purposes.
Yeah, no, I think that would work well, especially getting McMahon's bat out of the lineup.
And the Yankees kind of need more righties in the lineup anyways.
The infatuation with Grichuk has been interesting.
Yeah.
But they're not playing poorly, but I don't think they're playing great either.
No, they're just benefiting from how bad the AL is.
Right. I mean, again, they swept
and,
the
I mean,
Royals,
and listen, like, get your eats when your eats are there. And the pitching has been great. Like, Schlittler a sub 2 ERA, Fried a sub 3 ERA. Will Warren has a sub 2.5 ERA right now. Heel is the worst on the team at 4.11. There's teams that would kill for that to be their ace right now. So, the pitching has been phenomenal. And this is what I'm saying. You have such a surplus of pitching when Cole and Rodon get back that I do think they're going to be able to flip somebody, whether it's Weathers or whether it's Heel or whether it's Warren, into a real bat.
I just struggle to see what's out there. But
I don't think that the market is shaped up right now,
right,
by any means. But I do think we're eventually going to get to the point where we do start to see some of these teams that are like, yeah, they're not doing could look at the Rockies right now and see kind of what they have roster-wise, just because we know they'll probably be sellers. Listen, if you brought in Mickey Moniak, he's been pretty solid this year for the Rockies. Again, it would lead to Grisham on the bench, but I won't be crying a river over it.
No, not at all. And
could you call up Houston? Could you call up Kansas City? Are there pieces on their teams?
Michael Garcia, a guy that I don't think the Phillies could pull off a trade for, but if you start a package with like a Will Warren or a Louis Heel and build around there, they'll go for the major league pitching.
Yeah. And again, he plays third this season. He's a righty bat. He's batting .274. Just, did I trade for him in my MLB The Show franchise? Yes. Should the Yankees do it in real life? Yes.
Well, who else did you trade for to play third base in that franchise?
Hey, man. Alec Boehm's been great for me, man. Alec Boehm's batting .340 for me. John's got to wake him up or something. I also traded for Stephen Kwan. I don't think the Guardians are moving.
No.
But,
where do you see the Yankees going from here, if you want to give your final thoughts on them?
How long term are we talking?
Let's just go this season. Do we think they are just the best of the bad bunch, or are they a good team?
Truthfully, I think they represent the AL in the World Series. I mean, that was the prediction I gave at the start of the season. And it's kind of just shaping out. Again, I think the AL is not as good as the NL. And I think the Yankees have the best player, and I think they have the best pitching. And I think that that's just going to go a real long way. And with the emergence of Ben Rice and with Bellinger giving you consistent play, they should win the AL, and they're a good deadline away from actually being a viable threat to win the World Series. Right now, I don't think that they'd win the World Series. I think they'd get there and lose.
To the Dodgers.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. Now, obviously, it's baseball. Anything could happen, but I would certainly call them an AL contender and probably the AL favorite.
Absolutely.
But I guess like if you get there, you could win it. But I don't think I'd believe it today that it would happen. I wouldn't predict it.
I am with you. I think that there's still more for them to prove.
Yeah.
Now the Padres. Padres 15-7 overall, 1 game back in the National League West. They're up 2 in the wild card though. 9-1 in their last 10. Plus 17 run differential. They don't play the Dodgers until May 18th through May 20th. That's their first time facing LA. I think they might have the best pitching staff, starters and bullpen in all of baseball, anchored by Mason Miller, who has been unreal.
Yeah. I mean, they have been very impressive. They're kind of a team that I feel like every year people try and like pinpoint like this is the year that the Padres are going to fall off. This is the year that they're going to be bad. Michael King has been just excellent to open up the season. You know me, big Michael King guy. Hated that the Yankees moved him. Understood it, but hated it. Randy Vasquez has been really solid for them as well. Mason Miller leads their team in strikeouts, if you'd believe that.
32 2/3 scoreless streak.
Yeah, the fact that their closer leads their team in strikeouts, I just noticed that is just bonkers. The lineup I actually think has some room for growth. Tatis has been quiet. He's starting to heat up a little bit. Machado's been real bad to open up the year. Jackson Merrill, he's been quiet. So I think there's a lot of room for this team to grow, and I do think that they'll be a playoff team.
Yeah, I think that the best way to describe them is I don't think they're in the middle of a hot stretch. And, the reason being is Tatis, Machado, Merrill, Bogart,
like the ceiling's higher for this squad.
Yes, I think that they are showing that they are a well-rounded team. They can win by being Slam Diego, and they can win by shutting you out and win 1-0, 2-1. They've won all those, both those different types of games, and that's why I feel like I'm getting higher and higher on the Padres as this goes on.
Yeah,
to the point where I'm ready to declare that the Dodgers are not locked in as the NL West winner. I think the Padres could unseat them.
I think the Padres would be frisky in a playoff series against the Dodgers.
I mean, I just think that the Dodgers could lose the division to the Padres long term. I think the Padres are that well-rounded where they can pull that off.
I don't, but I like your moxie.
What team are you willing to talk about then?
Those same Dodgers. It's kind of easy to just skip over the Dodgers because we kind of all know who they are. But I figure we should do just kind of a check-in with this team and see where they're at. If I had told you a month into the season that the Dodgers' best player would be batting .370,
I would ask you, who are you talking about?
With 21 RBIs, an on-base percentage of .416, a 1. OPS, a 1.7 WAR, would you have guessed Ohtani? Would you have guessed Mookie? Would you have guessed Freeman? Would you have guessed newly acquired Kyle Tucker? Maybe Teoscar opened up the season hot?
Will Smith?
Will Smith, maybe.
Max
Nope.
Muncy.
Andy Pages.
The
best player on the Dodgers, best hitter on the Dodgers right now to open up this season. And don't get me wrong, Ohtani's batting 272 with 5 homers and 21 RBIs. Max Muncy has 8 home runs right now. Tucker's batting 256 with 13 RBIs. Freddie Freeman's 296, just had a kid. You know what that means. Every time they come off the paternity list, these guys go crazy. Mookie Betts actually kind of wasn't great in the 8 games that he played, so, you know, it is what it is. But the Dodgers can recover from that because they're the freaking Dodgers. What about pitching? You know, Yamamoto, 2.1 ERA. Guy's just an absolute stud. Glass now, 3.24 with 29 strikeouts leading the team. Ohtani, 0.5 ERA to open up the season with 18 strikeouts. You know, Sasaki's been kind of a letdown, but oh well. Edwin Diaz, him going down is interesting, but
3 months,
Vesia,
right?
yeah, but Vesia, Tanner Scott, Trinan, like they're just built for this, man. It's just laughable how good this team is, in the fact that they've unlocked more guys. Robelski at the bullpen, 1.88 ERA, and Andy Pajes, the guy who almost blew the World Series by diving over another player to come down with that catch. The 9th best player on the World Series lineup last year, batting 370 for a course of them. It's just, yes, the Dodgers buy talent, they grow it too.
I mean, even look at their backup catcher in rushing that's playing incredibly well.
Yeah.
What about Rushing saying that he thought the Dodgers where it was a little fishy?
The Padres,
He
he
thought
the Padres were cheating.
No, he thought the Rockies were.
No, my bad. The Rockies, yes.
Yeah, he thought the Rockies.
Colorado.
He implied that there was something fishy going on because they were getting hard contact on the first pitches a lot. They were swinging all the first pitches.
All
yes,
right, buddy. Well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Rushing. If the Rockies are cheating, just let them keep cheating. Okay, I don't want to know how bad they'd be if this is what they have been with a cheating playing field. I don't want to know where they're at on a level playing field. Okay, you're on the Dodgers. I know you're new to this. You don't worry about teams like the Rockies. Okay, the Rockies might as well be a AAA team to you if you're the Dodgers. Again, we reiterate the same stuff over and over again when we talk about the Dodgers, but I didn't want to just ignore them. They have the best run differential in baseball. They have the best record in baseball. They've won back-to-back World Series. Ohtani, for all the crap that Corey gave him all offseason, is pitching like an ace.
We'll see about that. Play teams that aren't the Rockies.
Hitting like an MVP. So, shout out the Dodgers, man. They're probably going to three-peat.
All right, let's just cut off that Dodger talk there. I don't want to talk about that three-peat. They're going to beat the Yankees twice in your three-peat right now. I think the Dodgers are probably going back to the World Series. They are the best team in baseball. But eventually it's going to come to an end, and I think the way they're building their roster, it'll be a quick Band-Aid ripoff. We won't see the painful
Phillies death.
Like the Phillies.
Yeah.
I think that the Dodgers, it'll come off where they'll be the best team, and then the next year they'll fall off, and we'll know it's going to happen because they're going to, Tucker will be gone, Betts and Freeman.
The difference is they'll have made it count.
John, who did you want to discuss? Is this a team that can unseat the Dodgers?
Probably not, but they might win the NL Central.
Is that the Cubs or the Brewers?
No, it's the Cincinnati Reds, who are
Reds?
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting when you look at how they're doing, because
they actually just moved into first place in the Central.
Yeah, it's interesting how they're doing because they have the worst team batting average in the league at 207.
Nice.
And somehow they're in first. And before this, they also had, I think now they're in positive, but they had a -3 run differential. But I think now they're at +3 right now.
They are at +3.
Yeah, they're at +3 right now.
5-game win streak, 8-2 in their last 10.
Yeah, and then ERA wise, I think early when I checked, they were fourth of a 3.34, but I believe now they're down to eighth with a 3.47. And to put that perspective, the Braves are in first with a 3.04 team ERA. So I'm not sure like how they're doing this, because like the NL Central has been, I think, pretty good for the most part. With like, I mean, the Pirates have been pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
the Brewers were pretty good. I mean, the Cubs are finally starting to do good.
I mean,
But I mean, like, is this a team that like are they going to keep this up? Is just this like are they for real? Because I mean, they're at like it just seems like their pitching is kind of holding them together here.
how do I nicely say no?
Yeah,
I mean, like,
Just say it.
no. Their recent series have been against the Marlins, Angels, Giants, Twins, and Rays. That's how. Like, those are bad teams. So again, is it to say that the Reds won't be a wild card team this year? No, they could be, but is it?
I mean, they were almost one last season.
They were.
I
They
believe.
were
They were.
one.
They got
The
knocked out by
I
the
mean,
I think it was the year before too.
I-
Yeah, my
I
bad.
mean,
they were one.
But do I think that they're the best team in the NL Central? Not close. I still think it's Cubs Brewers. I still think that's where we're headed. And I don't fall on run differential for everything, but Cincinnati Reds +3, Cubs +37, Brewers
What
+27,
about the Pirates with the flag
+21.
plus
And,
21?
and like
They're
So-
a fun, competitive team, the Pirates.
yeah, and so are the Reds. Like, they're 16-8. Like they do deserve respect in that moniker. I just think their record is better than they truly are right now. But Ellie, Sal Stewart, like, there are some
Yeah.
real exciting pieces
Hunter
on
Green,
this team
Chase Burns.
to be excited about in the future. I just think this year would be too soon to talk about, are they legit contenders? I just think that they have beaten up on some bad teams, which proves that they're not a bad team. I'm just not sure they're a great team.
I think just building off what you said, if this year isn't the year, this is the year you find out if they will ever be that level. And I think beating those bad teams is the first step to becoming a good team. Play who's in front of you and beat them. You need to stack wins against bad teams. So if it won't be this year, at least we're going to get a look at what can they be next year. Let's take a look at our studs, duds, and rookies, though. For me, my rookie, Parker Messick, Cleveland starting pitcher. 1 game started, went 1-0. He took a no-hitter into the 9th inning in a 4-2 win versus Baltimore. Gave up 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 9 Ks. Has an 0.80 batting average against. Pretty solid.
Yeah, my rookie shortstop for the Detroit Tigers, Kevin McGonigal. He's been pretty solid over the last week. A 333 batting average, 7 hits and 21 at bats, only 4 strikeouts in that time period. So you like to watch that for young guys. Are they striking out? Are they making contact? Making contact, a double and a triple as well for him. A solid piece. I know we've talked about him a couple times, but just something that Detroit should be pretty excited about.
My rookie's going to be Murakami from the White Sox. I mean, this was a guy a lot of teams passed on and didn't want to sign him. But, I mean, he's been doing pretty good. I mean, this past week, 7 for 24, 4 home runs, I think, was it 9 RBIs, batting .292 with a 1.311 OPS. He did have 10 strikeouts, which is what they were worried about. But so he's still striking out a lot, and 208 average on the year, but 16 RBIs, 8 home runs. I mean,
That's
the pop's
pretty
there, and
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of teams are kind of wishing they just signed them anyway.
Yep.
Absolutely. Now, studs and duds. My stud, to keep with my Padre theme, Mason Miller. 3 innings pitched, 3 saves, 1 walk. He struck out 7 out of the 9 batters he faced. He's got that 32 2/3 scoreless streak dating back to August of last year. He has been unreal. He has, a negative FIP or something?
Something.
just these stats surrounding him have been otherworldly. And this won't be something that he can keep up, but we can see him come close to these numbers at the end of the year where we're talking about a historic all-time closer season.
I agree.
My dud, Taylor Walls of the Rays, the shortstop, 5 games, 20 at-bats, only 2 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. He's hitting 100 with a 282 OPS and a 100 slugging. He's been horrendous, and the Rays are really going to struggle if they can't get their most out of Walls, who was a top prospect for them at one point.
Yeah, I love Chandler Simpson on their team, though, man. He's just got crazy speed. My stud, Vlad Guerrero Jr. of the Toronto Blue Jays. Vladdy had a really solid week, 417 batting average, 10 hits and 24 at-bats, 5 RBIs, a home run in that time period. The Blue Jays have struggled to open the year. They're going to really rely on Vladdy to get them back in the mix, and he's certainly doing what he can right now. My dud, Gunnar Henderson. Yeah, I like picking on the Orioles. Sue me for it. Henderson's been pretty bad over the last week. A 138 batting average, 4 hits in 29 at-bats is just disgusting. 10 strikeouts, double the strikeouts than hits. You're supposed to be the MVP player of a team. Baltimore is supposed to go where their lineup takes them. This is supposed to be the best player in the lineup, and he has been not good.
My stud, New York Yankee, Cody Bellinger.
Yay.
I mean, last week, 7 hits out of 17 at bats, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, 5 walks, batting .412 with a 1.427 OPS. I mean,
Belly's been good.
He's been really, really, really good.
We didn't put him up to this either. He chose Bellinger all in his own.
did. He's been really, really good. Also, I believe this past week he had a record. There was one of his streaks was broken for hitting a home run on
It was not broken.
It was not broken. Well, he didn't play.
They didn't play. The Yankees didn't play.
So you can't break a streak if there's no game.
But it's not consecutive.
It is consecutive in games played.
True. Now my dud, Taijuan Walker. What a surprise! I mean,
get him in while you can.
Yeah, last game, 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, and on the season he has 1 win for 3 losses, a 9.16 ERA, a 2.04 WHIP. I cannot wait until he's in the bullpen. I cannot wait. I mean,
one of the bullpen.
DFA him.
They should, but at least in the bullpen, at least he can be there.
There's got to be a better innings either
low games
in AAA.
So I don't even know, but they're putting him out there. I think his next start, he's still starting. They're going to put him out there with an opener this time, but that's Rob Thompson's, thing to counteract. We're gonna use an opener. And he's gonna do good now with an opener.
How'd that work out?
Oh man. I don't think it's happening. It's not yet, but I heard it tell you it's gonna be bad.
Yeah,
they're just gonna waste more pitching.
Well, let's go to the moment of the week. For me, it was Leody Taveras' 12th inning grand slam to put the Orioles over the Royals. 7-5 win. Taveras literally single-handedly won it for the Orioles. 12 innings is a long time, especially with the ghost runner now. And the fact that they had to hit a grand slam to only win by 2 shows what Kansas City was in. Honestly, this is an indictment on Kansas City because they just keep finding new ways to lose. And good on Baltimore for finding a way to win.
Yeah, they're not getting it from Henderson, so way to go, Taveras. My moment of the week, no bias. Throw that out the window. Giancarlo Stanton, home run, Fenway Park. It's his park. He owns it. Over the monster. Red Sox suck. Yankees are great. Moment of the week.
Yeah, he also had two balls hit really hard that weren't home runs into the deepest part of the ballpark in center field.
Yeah, he just owns it. That's his park. He owns it.
He plays really well there.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Cam Schlittler play there.
What do you have, John?
Moment of the week, probably one of only the bright spots. One of the bright spots of the Phillies is Brandon Marsh robbing. It's not even a really bright spot, but it's like it was the second game of the Brewers of the not the Brewers, the Braves series. Sanchez threw a ball, first pitch. Acuna, I think, deep center field. Marsh robs the home run to save a first pitch home run of the game. Like, just saves it.
It's pretty crazy.
So, and then he almost had a really good play later on in that first inning, 2 defensive play, but it looked kind of Adolis Garcia kind of got in his way a bit, and the ball dropped. No one caught it, but a little bit of a bright little, got to see at least it's nice. That's what I'm looking at. I mean, he robbed the home run. They lost that game anyway, either way, because Sosa booted a ball that should have been an out, and then Sanchez with the throw more, and he gave up 3 unearned runs.
Teams with the second worst record in the National League, you're just going to play like teams with the second worst record in the National League.
Yeah.
Let's go to our weekly series highlight to cap it all off. I'm picking Cubs at Padres. Cubs are ascending. Padres ascending. This is an NLCS matchup possibility. Both teams playing at about the height of their play right now. I think this is a fun series to watch.
Yeah, well, while I thought about going Rockies-Mets to see who the worst team in baseball is, I'm actually going to go with a repeat series. Phillies-Braves. Braves put B2A on the Phillies in the bank. The Phillies, if they get swept again, they might be in Mets territory where the season's over, in my book. They got Painter, Wheeler, Nola in Atlanta. I think the Phillies going there this weekend and winning that series would be enough of a statement to get them back on track. Big time series in the NL East. And by the way, if you're Atlanta too, and you can get the best of the Phillies and win, 5 of 6 or whatever it'll be over the course of those 2 series that were virtually back to back, then all of a sudden you have a real stranglehold on the division.
My weekly highlight's going to be the Tigers-Reds. We're kind of talking about this. I mean, you have the Tigers, who I think we all kind of think is a pretty solid, good team, better than the Reds. And we have the Reds, who are kind of playing better than they are right now. I mean, to be fair, they haven't really played many teams. So this is kind of one of the better teams that that they're going up against this season. So see how they do against here, and see if they're actually for real or if it's just they've been playing bad teams.
We'll see.
Who knows?
Any final thoughts on this week in baseball?
Let's go Yanks.
Let's go Yanks. For Corey, Jason, John, Pauline, Dylan, Mel, this has been the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast, signing off.